Today we're going to be going over the 3 most important stats in YouTube Analytics. So if you're new to YouTube Analytics, you haven't used YouTube's analytical tools or any of the data, you haven't looked at your data, this is the video you need to watch to understand how well you're doing. We're just looking at 3 stats today, and those stats are impressions, click-through rate, and retention. We're going to be looking at impressions, click-through rate, and retention. I'll explain what those are in a minute. But first, let's get over to where those things are in YouTube. So we're going to hop into YouTube Studio, open Analytics, and take a look. Without further ado, I'm going to hop into my screen share. And you can see this is the front page of my channel. I'm logged into YouTube already. I'm going to go into the top right corner. I'm going to click this, go to the drop-down, click YouTube Studio. Now we're in Studio. Now, you might think you want to go to Analytics, and you can, but there's a much quicker way, and this is the way you'll usually do it, is if you want to look at a specific stat on a specific video, you'll go to your content, you'll hover over a video, you'll go to Analytics, click on that little box there, it'll appear when you hover over it, click on Analytics, and then you can see here's our Overview tab. Here's the video we're looking at on the left, which I can go and play if I want to. There's views and watch time. By the way, I never look at watch time. It's not a helpful stat. Views, yeah, it's good to know. We all know views. But this is the page you really want to be on. It's the Reach tab, and it's impressions and impressions click-through rate. So impressions is the number of times your thumbnail was shown, and then impressions click-through rate is the percentage of people that went and clicked on your thumbnail. What does that mean? It means I open the YouTube app on my phone or on my desktop. I scroll. Most people watch YouTube on their phone. So they open it up on their phone. They scroll. They see thumbnails come up. They find a thumbnail that looks interesting. They click on it. The percentage of people who do that, that's your click-through rate. Now, what is a good click-through rate versus a bad click-through rate? A bad click-through rate is anything under 3%. If you're under 3%, that's bad. A good click-through rate is anything over 5%. So 5% and up, that's a good click-through rate. A great click-through rate, like an amazing click-through rate, is 10% and up. So if you have a 10% or higher click-through rate, that's outstanding. So this video has an amazing click-through rate. But why is that? Well, because this channel is new. I don't have a lot of impressions. Chances are, if you're a bigger channel than me, you're going to have thousands and thousands of impressions, and so your click-through rate's going to be lower. How do you get a feel for what's a right number of impressions? Well, it's going to depend on where you are in your YouTube journey. If you're a newer channel, you're not going to get a lot of impressions. If you're a much, much bigger and older channel and you have lots of subscribers, you're going to get tons of impressions. And so you're really going to have to get a feel for what a good average is for you in terms of your impressions. That's the subject of another video, but you can actually go into Analytics, bulk download data for your content, and then divide and find an average that way. There's a lot of different ways to do it. Impressions indicates how well you're doing in the algorithm. So if the algorithm likes your content, it's going to give you a lot of impressions. So what does the algorithm like? Well, it likes topics that other YouTubers cover. So mukbang or iPhone 14 review. These are really, really popular topics that get a lot of coverage. So the algorithm will recommend your content more if you cover something that other YouTubers are covering. Second, in click-through rate's just real people clicking on your content and deciding if they want to watch it. So click-through rate is the real number of people that have decided they wanted to watch a piece of content that you made. Click-through rate you can change. How do you change your click-through rate? How do you make it better? Well, you change your title or you change your thumbnail. It's that simple. You change your title, you change your thumbnail, and you wait a couple days. It's usually good to wait a couple days and wait for the data to come back. You shouldn't be changing more than once a day. That's a good pro tip. Why is that? Well, because you won't get good data. You want to make sure you have good data. And good data takes a few days. It can really take up to a week. So if you're really patient, wait a week. See how your video does. Then flip your title or your thumbnail. You want to test one variable at a time. Can you do both at the same time? Yes, but then you won't know which trick worked. Was it the thumbnail that worked? Was it the title that worked? I guess it was both. I'm not sure. That's why you only do one at a time. So you wait a week, you flip your title and thumbnail, you wait another week, you see if you did better. You can set your date ranges here, by the way, if you just want to look at a specific date range or a specific week. You can actually set a custom date range here, and it will give you the average of that date range you set here on this tab. So there you go. Finally, we're going to look at retention. So here's where things get interesting. If you have a bad video, like your intro is terrible, you took too long to get to the main subject, or it just took too long for you to get to what you were talking about, or let's say your topic was bad, you picked a really esoteric topic. Well, those things you can't fix, right? So you can change your title and your thumbnail all day, and if you're still not getting the results that you want, well, there's a reason for that. It's probably because your topic was really esoteric, or your video, your intro wasn't that good. How do I know if my intro was bad? I can go to retention. Now, this is a new video. I just posted this today, so retention's not available yet. Let's go to an older video that's been up a little while, like this one, and look at the retention. So you can see this is a decent retention graph. It's not great. You can see people are falling off the face of the earth in the first 10 seconds. So I went from, let's see, 106% of my audience to 65% of my audience in 5 seconds. That's not great, right? But it's normal to see big drop-offs, but maybe not this steep. So you want drop-offs to be a little less steep. You want to engage people for as long as you can. And hey, if you can hold on to 40% of your audience around the halfway point, so like, halfway into your video, that's amazing. So the fact that I was able to hold on to 30% of my audience until about 4 minutes in, that's actually pretty good. So this video is retaining people well. It clearly has an intro that could be better, like the first 5 seconds clearly could have been better. And then here's what's really fun. You can do a playback. So you can actually click wherever you want to on your video line, right? Hit play. And you can see, so let's take a look. People thought this was interesting. Let's see why.
The algorithm is suppressing my content. Well, you have to remember the algorithm is just people. The second point is you can't make it on YouTube without spending money on advertising. You actually can. There are tons of low-tech ways to promote.
So what this means is essentially people either skipped to this part of the video or skipped back to it. So for whatever reason, people found this question really interesting and they wanted to go back and hear me talk about it. So that's why there would be a bump in your retention in the middle of your video. It's because people skipped and went back. If there's a dip, it's because people clicked away. That's usually why. And so if you have time codes, if you added time codes to your videos and you get that little time code bar, you'll often see weird peaks and valleys that correspond to the time codes that you put in your description. So there you go. Those are the 3 main stats for analytics. They're by far the most important, and what I look at the most by far is this playback to see if my intros were any good, and then my reach to see, this is a normal click-through rate. 3.7 is pretty normal. That's like average. It's not ideal, but it's definitely average. And you can see this video has more impressions because it's been around longer. So I hope this was interesting. If you found this interesting or if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me in the comments. Please subscribe. I always love more followers. But if you found this interesting and you want to know more, let me know. What else do you want to see me cover? All right. Thank you.